Price of new cars has hit a milestone.
What's driving car prices higher?
What are you hearing from consumers when they come in here?
Prices too high. Car prices seem to have been rising ever since COVID, and there's no turning back on that.
Right now, brand new $60,000 trucks are literally rotting on dealer lots across America. Not for days, not for weeks, for over 400 days, sitting under the open sky, baking in the sun, freezing in the cold, losing thousands of dollars in value every single month, and not a single buyer in sight. This is the car industry apocalypse, and the middle class is getting absolutely destroyed. While everyday Americans are being priced out of the new car market entirely, stretched thin by $50,000 average sticker prices and interest rates that turn a car payment into a second mortgage, brand new vehicles are piling up on lots from coast to coast at a rate nobody has seen in decades. Dealers are bleeding, and we are not talking about small numbers. We are talking about showrooms sitting on hundreds of millions of dollars in unsold inventory, paying interest on every single vehicle that doesn't move. Every sunrise costs them money. Every sunset costs them more. And here's where the story takes a turn nobody is talking about. Because buried inside this crisis, this full-blown automotive apocalypse, is something extraordinary. A once-in-a-decade window where regular buyers, people like you, suddenly hold all the power. Dealers who laughed at lowball offers 2 years ago are now the ones making the phone calls, begging, negotiating, throwing in extras just to clear floor space. But here's the part that should stop you cold. Some of these deals are genuinely life-changing. Real discounts on serious vehicles from desperate sellers who need them gone yesterday. Others are traps, dressed up like opportunities, discounts that look incredible on paper, until ownership costs start quietly draining every dollar you have, and the dealers know exactly which ones are which. So before you walk into any dealership, before you sign anything, before you hand over a single dollar, which side of this deal are you actually on? There is one number that dealers track obsessively and almost no buyer ever knows exists. One single metric that will completely change the dynamic the moment you walk into any showroom in America. It is called day supply, market day supply. And once you understand what it means, you will never overpay for a car again. Here is how it works. Day supply tells you exactly how many days it would take a dealer to sell every vehicle they currently have on the lot, based on how fast they are selling right now. A healthy number sits somewhere between 60 days and 90 days. That means the market is balanced. Supply and demand are roughly in sync. Dealers are comfortable, prices are firm, and you have very little leverage walking through that door. But when that number starts climbing above 200, the entire game changes. Above 300, dealers are not just willing to negotiate, they are quietly panicking. And when you see numbers like 400, 460, even 480 days of supply, that dealer needs your money far more than you need their car. Here is why it gets so serious so fast. Most dealers do not actually own the cars sitting on their lots outright. They are financing them through something called floor plan financing. Every single day a vehicle sits unsold, the dealer is paying interest on it. The car is depreciating. The weather is working on the paint. A bird does not care that the vehicle underneath it costs $60,000. That brand new truck is getting a little less new, a little less valuable. Every single hour, it does not move. Think of it exactly like a grocery store watching milk approach its expiration date. What do? They slash the price. They move it to the clearance rack. They do whatever it takes to get it out the door before it becomes a total loss. Cars work the exact same way. Kevin from Ohio learned this the hard way, except it worked in his favor. He walked into a dealership last October knowing the day's supply number on the truck he wanted. The moment he mentioned it, the salesperson's entire energy shifted. Kevin told me the guy went from rehearsed sales pitch to honest conversation in about 10 seconds flat. He left that dealership $6,400 richer than when he walked in. A former dealership finance manager told me something that stuck with me. When a customer knows our day supply number, we already know the discount conversation is coming. The only question is how much. That is the weapon. Now let us talk about exactly which vehicles are bleeding the worst right now, and how deep those wounds actually go. Let us start with number 10 on the list, and already the numbers are uncomfortable for dealers. The BMW 8 Series is sitting at a 207-day supply nationwide. Right now, there are 1,990 brand new 8 Series on dealership lots across the country. In the last 45 days, dealers managed to move just 432 of them. Do that math and you quickly understand why BMW showrooms are getting very quiet and very motivated. The price tag to get into one starts at over $110,000. That is a staggering number for a grand tourer in a market that has completely fallen in love with SUVs and trucks. The 8 Series is a genuinely stunning car. Beautiful lines, serious performance, the kind of vehicle that turns heads in any parking lot. But beautiful does not pay floor plan interest. Beautiful does not stop depreciation. And beautiful does not move 1,990 units when buyers keep walking past it towards something taller with a tailgate. Daniel from California had been watching the 8 Series for 2 years, convinced he could never make the numbers work. He walked in last month with the day supply figure already on his phone. Before he even sat down, the dealer knocked $11,000 off the sticker. Daniel told me it felt less like a negotiation and more like a rescue operation. Moving to number 9, the Hyundai Santa Cruz sits at a 222-day supply. Over 10,470 of these compact pickup trucks are currently parked at Hyundai dealerships nationwide, and in the last 45 days, the brand moved roughly 2,100 of them. Here is the detail that explains everything. The Santa Cruz is being discontinued. The moment buyers hear that a vehicle is on its way out, something shifts in their thinking. Questions about parts availability, resale value, and long-term dealer support start circling. That hesitation turns into avoidance, and avoidance turns into 10,000 trucks sitting in the rain. Their anxiety is your discount. Number 8 is the Mini Convertible at 224 days of supply. About 2,000 units are available nationwide. Roughly 400 sold in the last 45 days. The asking price sits around $45,000. Now consider that this list was compiled in the middle of February, during one of the coldest winters in recent memory. Nobody is rushing out to drop $45,000 on a car with no roof when there is frost on the windshield. That is compact SUV money for a tiny drop top, and the timing could not be worse for Mini. 3 completely different vehicles, 3 completely different problems. One result that looks exactly the same: dealers who are quietly desperate and publicly pretending they are not. The next 2 entries are where the leverage stops being interesting and starts being almost unfair. At number 7, we arrive at a vehicle that perfectly illustrates what happens when a brand tries to be something it fundamentally is not. The Maserati Grecale is sitting at a 232-day supply. There are 583 of these for sale at dealerships across the country right now. In the last 45 days, Maserati dealers moved just 113 units, and the price to drive one home sits at roughly $135,000 for a Maserati, the brand that was supposed to use this exact vehicle to bring fresh buyers into the fold. Here is the core problem with the Grecale, and honestly, with Maserati in general right now. Nobody buys a Maserati if they can actually afford a Ferrari. And if they cannot afford a Ferrari, there are sharper, better supported options available for considerably less money. The Grecale lands in a brutal middle ground. Too expensive to be practical, not prestigious enough to be truly aspirational. It is a $135,000 answer to a question most buyers were never asking. A dealer contact told me recently that they have stopped pretending the price on their Grecale is anywhere close to firm. When the right buyer walks in, they are ready to talk seriously. And right now, almost any buyer who walks in is the right buyer. But before we go further, if you want the complete picture on which cars will cost you the most money in 2026, download the free ebook, Avoid These 17 Cars, in 2026, linked in the description below. Depreciation charts, real owner reliability data, and the exact models mechanics see coming through their shops over and over again. Completely free. Grab it now and come back. At number 6, the Buick Envision arrives with a 267-day supply and a problem that is almost too straightforward to explain. There are over 11,000 Envisions sitting on lots nationwide. In the last 45 days, dealers sold fewer than 2,000 of them. The sticker price lands around $41,000. That number is precisely where everything falls apart for Buick. At $41,000, a buyer does not stay in the Buick lane. They start cross-shopping. They look left and see entry-level luxury badges with decades of aspirational marketing behind them. They look right and see loaded versions of far more popular brands. And when that comparison happens honestly, the Envision consistently loses. Sandra from Michigan told me she genuinely liked the Envision during her test drive. But at that price, the Buick badge alone cost it the sale. The pattern here is impossible to ignore. Vehicles priced above what buyers believe they are worth struggle regardless of what name is on the hood. Brand loyalty only stretches so far when the numbers refuse to make sense. The top 5 is where things get genuinely serious. We are inside the top 5 now, and the numbers at this level stop feeling like a market slowdown and start feeling like a full-scale emergency for the brands involved. At number 5 sits the Audi S3 sedan with a 318-day supply, nearly a full calendar year of inventory based on how slowly these cars are currently moving. Audi dealers across the country have 552 of them available for sale right now. In the last 45 days, they sold 78 nationwide. The average transaction price sits around $58,800. Now here is what makes the S3 situation uniquely powerful for a prepared buyer. The total number of units is relatively small compared to other vehicles on this list, and yet, even with limited supply, dealers still cannot move them. That tells you something important. This is not a storage problem. This is a demand problem. And a demand problem at a dealership with quota pressure and floor plan, costs mounting daily, means the person sitting across that desk needs you far more than they are letting on. Marcus from Georgia had been considering an S3 for months, but kept talking himself out of the price. He visited a local Audi dealer, showed genuine interest, then stood up and walked toward the exit without signing anything. The salesperson called him back before he reached the door, then called his cell phone twice that evening, then again the following morning. Marcus's final deal landed $7,200 below sticker with floor mats, tinted windows, and the first 2 service appointments included. He did nothing except be willing to leave. At number 4, The Mercedes-Benz AMG GT Coupe arrives with a 365-day supply. A full year of inventory sitting on lots right now based on current sales velocity. Mercedes dealerships across the country have 778 of these available. In the last 45 days, they moved 96. The entry price on one of these is over $150,000. Think about that for a moment. 96 buyers in 45 days decided this vehicle was worth $150,000. The rest walked away. In a country of 330 million people, with Mercedes dealerships coast to coast, fewer than 100 individuals per month are saying yes to this car at this price. That is not a slowdown. That is the market, delivering a very clear, very loud verdict. Maybe people with serious money are genuinely reconsidering flashy purchases right now. Maybe a two-seater at that price simply has a ceiling that Mercedes badly miscalculated. Either way, the result is identical. A stunning car sitting unsold while dealer financing costs stack up day after day. The discount opportunity on both of these vehicles is real. But for two of the cars on this entire list, the discount is also a warning in disguise. We will get to that shortly. First, the top three. This is where desperation becomes something else entirely. The top three. This is where the word desperate stops being a figure of speech and starts being a financial reality that shows up on dealer balance sheets every single morning. At number 3, the Dodge Charger is sitting on a 460-day supply. There are 5,721 brand new Chargers on lots across the country right now. In the last 45 days, dealers moved 634 of them. The starting price to get into one sits at $56,595. Dodge believed in this redesign completely. They ran the campaigns, they made the noise, they generated the buzz, and then real buyers showed up at real dealerships with real money and looked at that sticker price and kept walking. Brian from Texas told me he made what he genuinely thought was an insulting offer on a Charger last month. $8,000 under sticker, almost as a joke. The dealer countered at $5,500 under and immediately threw in free scheduled maintenance for 2 years before Brian could even respond. What Brian thought was an opening lowball turned out to be almost reasonable by that dealership's current standards. Dodge bet on this car. The market said no at this price. And now dealers from coast to coast are holding that loss one day at a time. At number 2, the Jeep Grand Wagoneer carries a staggering 463-day supply. Jeep dealers nationwide have 4,510 of these ready for sale right now. In the last 45 days, they sold just 438 units. The price lands around $85,200. This is Jeep's flagship luxury SUV, their statement vehicle, their attempt to compete at the very top of the market. The problem is that at $85,000, you are standing directly next to the Range Rover, competing against the Escalade, fighting for buyers who have spent decades associating luxury SUVs with very specific badges, and Jeep is simply not one of them. A sales manager at a Grand Wagoneer dealership told me they have had units sitting on their lot since last spring. He stopped quoting the sticker price to serious buyers months ago. And at number 1, for the second consecutive month, the Volkswagen ID.4 holds the top spot with a jaw-dropping 480 supply. Nearly a year and a half of inventory based on current sales. Volkswagen dealers have 1,482 of these sitting on lots right now. In the last 45 days, they sold 139. Average transaction price is almost $50,000. Here is what makes this story genuinely extraordinary. There was a moment, as recently as late 2023, when the ID.4 was one of the fastest-selling vehicles in America. Dealers could not keep them in stock. Then the federal tax credit disappeared and sales fell off a cliff overnight. Without that government incentive, the math simply stopped working for most buyers, and 1,482 electric SUVs became 1,482 very expensive problems nobody knows how to solve. The deals are real, but so is the danger hiding inside some of them. Here is the part of this conversation that most buyers never hear, because most buyers see a desperate dealer and a massive discount and they stop thinking. The number looks extraordinary, the savings feel real, and they sign before anyone explains what is actually waiting for them on the other side of that contract. A good deal on the wrong car is still a bad deal. And 5 vehicles on this list will drain you dry no matter how compelling the discount looks on paper. The Maserati Grecale first. Yes, dealers will cut you a serious deal. No, you should not buy it. Maserati depreciation is legendary, and not in any way that benefits you. These cars lose value faster than almost anything else currently on the road. Maintenance costs run parallel to Ferrari ownership, without a single dollar of Ferrari resale value holding up your investment. You are buying a badge. That badge starts losing its price support the moment you leave the lot. The Volkswagen ID.4 next. Used ID.4s are already trading at roughly half their original sticker price. Half. Without the federal tax credit propping up the math, buying one new today means watching a significant portion of your money evaporate in real time. The depreciation curve on this vehicle is not a gentle slope. It is a cliff. The Jeep Grand Wagoneer. Reliability concerns are beginning to surface in real owner reports, and that trajectory rarely improves. You are paying Range Rover money and receiving Jeep residual values in return. The fuel economy alone should give any serious buyer pause. That discount will not come close to covering what this vehicle actually costs to own across 3 to 5 years of real-life driving. The Mercedes-Benz AMG GT Coupe. That $150,000 purchase price is genuinely just the beginning of the conversation. AMG maintenance is not occasional. It is expensive. It is frequent. And it is non-negotiable if you want the car running properly. Insurance premiums on a 2-seat specialty sports car are significant. Depreciation on vehicles with this kind of niche appeal hits fast and lands hard. You will lose tens of thousands of dollars before the new car smell fully fades. And the BMW 8 Series. German luxury depreciation colliding with limited mainstream appeal is a combination that punishes owners consistently and without mercy. Once that factory warranty expires, maintenance bills can genuinely rival your monthly payment. Some owners report losing $15,000 or more in value every single year of ownership. A 20% discount means absolutely nothing when the car craters 40% in value within 2 years. Desperation pricing from a dealer does not change the fundamental economics of owning a vehicle that will quietly nickel and dime you into oblivion. Know the difference before you sign a single thing. So you have the data. You know which vehicles are bleeding. You know which discounts are genuine opportunities, and which ones are expensive traps wearing a sale price as a disguise. Now comes the part that actually puts money back in your pocket. How you walk into that dealership and use everything you now know to negotiate like someone who cannot be played. First, know the numbers before you walk through the door. Look up the day supply on any vehicle you are seriously considering. When you sit down across from a salesperson, and you can tell them precisely how long their inventory has been sitting, the entire energy in that room shifts immediately. They stop performing. They know you have done your homework. They know you understand your leverage. Information is power inside a dealership, and a prepared buyer is the one thing a desperate salesperson genuinely respects. Second, be willing to walk. This is the single most powerful tool available to any car buyer, and the one most people are too emotionally attached to actually use. A dealer sitting on 300+ days of inventory cannot afford to lose a serious buyer. They need you more than you need them. If the deal is not right, stand up, thank them sincerely for their time, and move toward the exit. Let silence do the work. Let them sweat. The phone call usually comes before you reach your car. Third, target the end of the month and the end of the quarter deliberately. Salespeople and dealerships carry monthly quotas that create real pressure independent of inventory concerns. Stack your leverage by shopping a slow-selling vehicle right before one of those deadlines hits. Slow inventory plus quota pressure plus an informed buyer equals the maximum possible discount. That combination is simply math working entirely in your favor. Fourth, get competing quotes from multiple dealers and be completely transparent about it. Email several locations. Let them bid against each other for your business. The moment you fall emotionally in love with one specific car at one specific dealership, you have surrendered your most important negotiating asset. Stay detached. Stay strategic. The car does not love you back. Fifth, calculate total cost of ownership before you calculate anything else. A full price. Honda might genuinely cost you less over 5 years than a heavily discounted German sports car, steadily bleeding value and repair bills. Factor in insurance. Factor in fuel. Factor in depreciation. The purchase price is just the first number in a much longer equation. Rachel from Illinois used every single one of these steps on a slow-selling luxury SUV last quarter. She walked in with the day supply data, shopped 3 competing dealers, and visited on the final day of the month. She left $14,300 under asking price with an extended warranty included. An auto market analyst told me recently that emotional buyers are still paying full price, while prepared buyers are getting deals not seen since 2009. Decide which buyer you are before you walk in. Here is what the data is telling us right now, clearly, and without any room for interpretation. The car market is under genuine stress. Inventory is piling up on specific models at a rate that dealers have not seen in decades. Floor plan financing costs are accumulating every single day those vehicles sit unsold. Depreciation is compounding quietly in the background. And the manufacturers who built these cars are watching their dealers bleed while demand refuses to cooperate with the production numbers they committed to months ago. That pain is real. And for a prepared buyer, that pain is an opportunity unlike anything this market has offered in a very long time. But here is what you must hold on to after everything we covered today. Desperation cuts in 2 directions simultaneously. A dealer who needs to move inventory will absolutely discount. That part is true, and it is happening right now at showrooms across the country. But a discount on a vehicle with catastrophic depreciation, punishing maintenance costs, and reliability questions surfacing in owner reports is not a deal. It is a transfer of someone else's problem directly onto your personal balance sheet. The dealer gets relief. You get the consequences. The winners in this market are the buyers who understand the difference between a vehicle that is slow selling because of perception, timing, or seasonal factors, and a vehicle that is slow selling because the market has correctly identified something wrong with the fundamental ownership equation. Those are 2 completely different situations dressed up in identical discount clothing. One of them sets you up. The other slowly drains you. You now have the framework to tell them apart. Day supply gives you leverage. Total cost of ownership gives you clarity. Competing quotes give you options. Patience gives you power. And knowing exactly which vehicles are traps disguised as opportunities gives you the one thing most buyers never have walking into a dealership: an honest picture of what comes after the signing. To go even deeper on this before you set foot anywhere near a showroom, download the free ebook, Avoid these 17 cars in 2026, linked in the description below. It covers the depreciation charts, showing exactly which cars hold value and which ones crater. Real reliability data pulled from actual owner reports. The specific models that mechanics see coming through their shops repeatedly, and the cars that insurance companies quietly charge a premium on because they already know what you are about to find out. Completely free. Download it now. It could save you thousands of dollars and years of genuine headaches. The dealers are sweating. The inventory numbers are public. The leverage is sitting there waiting for someone prepared enough to use it. The only real question left is whether that someone is going to be you.